Hello again from the UK. Good morning. Had a couple of notes following the last video, which was about a week ago now. People have asked me about premonitions and what to do when you get them. Well, my advice is to listen to your premonitions, that inner voice that you get about things from time to time. We've all had them. I assume people have had them anyway. That feeling that something isn't right, something's wrong, I need to get away from this, it's not going to work out, that kind of thing. Again, recently I've had quite a lot of this going on. I've had a couple of projects I've been involved in that I felt I needed to kind of get away from for different reasons. And as I described to you last time, usually when I'm involved in something, there's a regular pattern that happens. The project or whatever it is has been struggling a little bit, or sometimes a lot, before I got involved. When I get involved, things pick up and get organised and things are going from strength to strength. And then when I walk away, it's not long before I'm hearing that the project has dropped down again, and sometimes has gone into a sort of terminal spiral. And so it bears out that the premonition I had, the feelings I had, were actually correct. And the same happens with friendships that I've had with people. Same thing again. They've been in trouble before, difficulties before I got involved with them. During the time I'm with them, things pick up, get sorted out, become more positive. They then drift away for whatever reason. And then I find out sometimes months later that their life has gone back into its old familiar pattern once I've left. Or once they've left me, should I say. And this seems to be a sort of ongoing theme that I've noticed quite a lot. There was a time when I used to ignore premonitions, and I used to carry on with people and projects that I knew were going to lead me into problems that were not good for me. And I'd carry on with these for years sometimes and just hope that things were going to pick up. Never trusting that inner voice that's saying, get away from this project, whether it be a job, some kind of other project, people, whatever it is. And I just put up with things and hoping that, and that's that sort of stoic manner that people are taught, to grin and bear it, to put up with things, try and make it better, try and work it, all this nonsense that people tell you. Well, my advice is, if you get a gut feeling about something and you're not happy with it, walk, get out quick. Whether it's a person, a friendship, a relationship, a job, some project that you're involved with. If you get that absolutely gut feeling that this isn't working, it's not good, and it's not going to change, get out, because all you're doing is wasting time. And I'm afraid to tell you all that the biggest commodity we never have enough of is time. Because this little roller coaster we're all on, we never know how long we're going to be on it. And in any event, even if you're on it for a long time, as the years pass, you'll find this phenomena where everything seems to be rushing past. The years fly past till the time you get to my age, and a year seems like 6 months compared to what it used to. In fact, probably less. When I was sort of a young man, I used to think a year. I used to remember what I was doing a year ago, usually at Christmas or something like that. And it just seemed like a long, long time ago. Now it seems like a couple of months, 3 months. You have got this phenomenon. And actually, when I was a young man, a rather elderly gentleman explained this to me. He said, when you're your age, son, he says, every year seems like a long time, doesn't it? And I said, yeah, it does, yeah. And he said, well, funny thing, he said, when you get to my age, it doesn't. And he says, I can tell you why that is. He says, because, say I was 21 at the time, he says, a year to you is 1/21th of your life that you remember. He says, it's probably actually not, it's probably a 10th, because you don't remember the first few years very much. He said, by the time you get to my age, it's the 70th. That's what he said to me, this guy, because he was 70. So he says, relative to the time I've existed, this last year is a lot shorter. And he says, you'll find this as you get older. And I thought, at the time, yeah, whatever. Didn't believe him really. And I can tell him, obviously he's no longer around, but I can tell him if I did see him, if I had somewhere telling him, he was absolutely spot on. You know, life does whoosh past as you get older, and you know, the older you get, the faster it goes. So basically, at any age, don't waste your time and don't listen to people. The worst thing you can ever do is listen to advice or follow advice blindly. By all means, listen to people talking to you because they might make you aware of something you've not thought of. But don't listen to people and just follow what they tell you to do just because they want you to do that particular thing. And I'll tell you why that is. Several reasons. Firstly, that person is telling you not what's good for you, they're telling what's good for them. Parents often do that. They'll tell their little kid, particularly things like careers and stuff like this, they want you to do something, a certain career path. Now, they're telling you that they're doing it for your benefit. Actually, they're not. They're doing it for their own benefit. Because what they want to do is tell everybody that their son or daughter has got this particular impressive job, and therefore it shines on them. They're trying to bask in your glory, in other words. And whenever people have asked me, and I've been asked this week actually, the guy texted me and said, I've been offered 2 jobs and I don't know which one to take. And I said to him, well, actually, you do know which one to take, but you just haven't got the courage to do it. And I said, the reason is that you should do the one that you think you're going to enjoy the most. Forget the money, forget anything else. Just look at the one that you're going to, on a day-to-day basis, enjoy doing. But of course, you don't need me to tell you that because you already know that. You already know which one of the 2 you're going to enjoy. And I'll tell you what will probably be the case. The one that you're going to least enjoy is probably paying the most money. Right? And he said to me back and he said, yeah, you're exactly right. I said, so you don't need my advice to tell you anything. You just need to listen to your own heart. Listen to your own inner voice. All you're wanting me to do is reinforce what you already believe, or make the decision for you by giving you a lecture about, well, you've got a family, you've got a wife and a young child to look after and stuff like that. You know, so I could well give him the lecture of, you should go with the one that's got the best money and the better career prospects and all this guff. Right? Well, how do you know that? You don't. How do you know that company might go into liquidation in a month's time? You don't. It's no good trying to second guess what's going to happen with regards to financial things and career paths because there's too many variables. But what is not a variable, and this is why I always tell people, young people particularly who want advice from an older person, when I've got my elder statesman hat on, what I always say to them is do what you enjoy. And now that's often advice that they've not heard anywhere else because everybody else, parents, teachers, university, college lecturers, whoever it is giving them a lecture about money and career prospects and all this bull. Don't listen to them. Do what you're going to enjoy doing. Even if it's something that's totally left field. You've probably got something that's a passion of yours. The people the most happy in life are people who get paid to do their own passion. In other words, they've got a paid hobby. And what kind of people are we talking about? Well, we're talking about all sorts of people. The obvious thing to think about is people like sports people. Wow, what a gig. You enjoy doing something, you're getting paid for it. Fantastic, yeah. And then people say, but there's only a few of them. Look how many of them fail. Yeah, but you know something about each of those people who've gone into that sport and not made the grade. At least they know. They don't sit for the rest of their life getting drunk in a bar saying, if only I'd have done this, if only I'd have done that, if only. They've had a go and it didn't work. And at least they know they weren't good enough. They've asked themselves a question and they've given themselves the answer. Now they can forget that and move on. If you never have a go at something that you really, really, really want to do, you never find out the answer to that question. So it becomes a question to your dying day. What would have happened if I'd have done this? I always wanted to be this. I always wanted to be a footballer or whatever it is that I wanted to have a go at. But my parents taught me out of it because they said, what about your future? You've got to have this, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So if you have a go at your passion and it doesn't work out, that's not a negative thing. At least you've found out the answer. And you can just get on with your life and move on to something else. On the other hand, if you become successful at it, you might make a living at it. Brilliant. You've made a living at something that you enjoy doing. If you get really good at it, you might make an extremely good living out of doing something you enjoy doing. Even better. Now, if you go into something that maybe it's not well paid, but it's something you really, really want to do, but the money's garbage, or at first it's probably rubbish, put it that way. What's going to happen? Well, at least you're going to spend your day, which nowadays we can be talking like 8-10 hours a day, doing something you enjoy doing. The money becomes incidental. Well, the alternative is to get a few pennies or pounds or dollars or whatever an hour more doing something you hate. So what's the value of that to you? That's what you got to ask yourself the question. Is it worth a few pounds an hour more to go and do a job you absolutely hate and you're looking at the clock every 2 minutes? Every minute that you're there, you can't stand it. Or take a little bit of a pay cut and go and do something you really enjoy, or something you're enthusiastic about, something you feel is relevant, important. It's important to you. Doesn't matter whether it's important to other people. Screw them. You're living your life, not theirs. Well, the parents make this mistake. What they'll do is they try to live vicariously their own life, again, through their kids, with all the mistakes taken out. Well, guess what? Life is about mistakes. It's about making mistakes. It's about going down blind alleys. But at least you know, right? At least you know what the outcome would be. You haven't got all those questions. Because believe you me, if you dilly-dally, quite often the opportunity disappears because you're only young for a very, very brief period in your life. And if you don't make your mind up to do things, quite often you're physically incapable of doing them. By the time you make your mind up, then it's too late. And then you just got a lifetime of regret. Oh, if only I'd have done that. I wish I'd have done this. So that's why you should never waste your time. Don't listen to other people. Listen to what they've got to say, and just in case they're saying something you've not thought of. But if you've already thought of it, just ignore them. You do your own thing. Follow your heart. To hell with what other people are telling you. That doesn't mean go and do drugs or go and spend every night in the pub getting absolutely sozzled. I don't mean that. I'm talking about what you want to do in life as a career, jobs, which people you want to be with, your choice of partner, whoever it is. Right? What's right for you is not necessarily right for other people that are trying to advise you. Right? And their judgment is no better than yours. In fact, it's worse because you know yourself. So, again, listen to, I call them premonitions. I've had premonitions all my life. And people around me who know me for years will tell you, he's always right. When he tells you something, listen. Because I've got this knack of just knowing what's going to happen next. But it's surprising how many people don't listen. Even people who know that what I've told them in the past has worked out the way I've told them it's going to be. When I tell them things they don't want to hear, that's what they do. Because they don't want to listen. Because they're listening to their ego. Not listening to common sense. Not listening to what's being told them. So that's what they want to do. That's fine. Get on with it. And I'll just step back and watch the mess. And then they come back to you usually, oh, this has gone wrong, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, I advised you that what was going to happen. Didn't listen. That's different from giving advice, for instance, about careers and stuff like that, because I don't know about that. Because I can't tell. If a person comes to me and says, ask me what they enjoy, I can't tell them. That's a matter for themselves. What I can do is just say, if you, like that guy the other day, if you've got a job, 2 job offers, go for the one you're going to enjoy. And the reason for that is, if you enjoy something, you put more work into it, more effort, because it's like a paid hobby. You enjoy being there, you enjoy doing it, you can see the relevance of what you're doing. Rather than just, doing one of those mindless tasks where you're just doing something, you never really see what happens to it afterwards. It's just this, boring thing that you're doing. But you're thinking, well, I get paid extra money. It's good money and stuff like that. Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, and what do you do with the money that you get? I'll tell you what you do with the money you get. You spend that money and a lot more in your private life doing things that cost money to try and take your mind off the fact that you've got a rivetingly boring job that you don't believe in. So any extra money that you're making more than goes on stuff to distract you from the fact you've got a lousy job in your life, you're unhappy in your life. If you went and did the job that you wanted for a few pounds an hour less, you wouldn't need to go doing all those things, those distractions at night and all that quick entertainment that you need to get a buzz, because you spent all day bored, absolutely sick at a job you can't stand. That's the reality of it. The other thing is, when you're good at something, when you enjoy something, you get good at it. You put that extra effort in because it's your passion. And sooner or later, people will notice that you're good at what you do. And when you're good at what you do, you get more money. And when you're really, really good at what you do, you get very, very good money, because there are always people who want the best. Don't bring me the guy who's the cheapest. Bring me the guy who's the best at what he does, even if it costs me some more money. There's always people doing that. You'll find your way through life that's the case. Like I say, recently I've had a couple of situations where I went into, I was actually volunteering at places, and neither of them have done well after I've left. Relatively quickly, they've gone into a spiral, having ignored what I told them needed doing. Don't take any pleasure from that. But I didn't need the stress of trying to tell people what to do, give them good advice, and them just completely ignoring me because they've got into a routine, or they lack vision, or whatever, and they've both gone into a bit of a spiral now. And I can see probably in time both of these organisations will completely change or disappear altogether. And I could see this coming from a long way off. I'm involved in them, and I just said, look, gave them my recommendations. Nah, we're not doing that. Don't want to know. Okay. So I moved on in both cases. And, I don't see that as a negative thing. I met some good people there. I had a good time doing what I was doing. And not only that, I proved to myself that I could do what I set out to do. I went in to do a certain task, completed it, success, move on. As soon as it's not good for you anymore, move on. Go and do something else. Find something else to do. And that's kind of my motto now, because I spent way too many years ignoring my inner voice, telling me things, and just wasted time with people, particularly people who were bad for me. People who are just bad people, who got hold of me and manipulated me, and I believed them. And you just need to move on from those people. Well, as soon as you realise what they like, just move on, whatever the cost. And it's an important lesson in life, which I want to make to people. Get people to understand. Follow your own voice. Don't listen to other people. because oftentimes they're telling you what suits them, not what's going to be good for you. So that's my advice to people. If you get a job, 2 job offers, 3 job offers, whatever it is, and you don't know what to do, or if you've got any decision in life to make, forget everything else. What's going to provide me with the most fun? What am I going to enjoy doing the most? That's the one to go for. And don't listen to anybody else telling you any different, because it's not their life, it's yours. And with that, I'll see you later. But don't forget to press those little buttons down here, notifications, likes and all that stuff. And I'll see you again. Love you all. Bye.